Jonathan Bent, and today we'll be going through explanation of MConnect and how it relates to you at your dealership with relation to a sales quotation tool that's been developed. MConnect is a portal that has been developed by Macintosh Distribution that's been used for a best part of 12 months now. It is predominantly been used up to this point for parts ordering, parts tracking, warranty registrations and warranty processing. So there will be, the sales guys in the group will be relatively unfamiliar with it. So we are about to start rolling out the sales quotation platform of the MConnect to the sales guys within the Miller sales group. So initially you will need to have yourself set up and registered for MConnect. You will be sent an invitation to join MConnect, which you will need to accept within a couple of days for that invitation to remain active. Once you then have registered and set yourself up, you click on the link that's in the email, you'll come to this screen that you're seeing on my screen now. So the screen, obviously you can see the MConnect logo, my particular email address, and obviously your password, that however you set up your password is to your access. So once you click login, you'll come straight into the MConnect front page. The front page looks like this. So at this stage, you can see bearing in mind, as an administrator, my page may look fractionally different to some of you guys in sales world. I have access to a lot of different things. So the initial thing you'll see is obviously the branch that I'm set up as, for this purpose of the exercise, set up as a Macintosh and Son & Katanning, a dealer communications dashboard, parts ordering, the sales desk, that'll be the main focus of what we do this morning, and the warranty claims. So for the sake of the exercise, if you have the need to send feedback via the portal, it's done through this tab up here. The dealer communications dashboard will give you the access to our way of tracking what we send out to you. So for argument's sake, if we send you a price list or something of that nature, it will come in via the dealer communications dashboard. Parts ordering, that's fairly simple, but the sales desk is what we want to be spending the majority of our time in this morning. So when we click on the sales desk, it brings you into this page. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. So we've got draft quotations sitting up the top, and then we have a range of approved quotations which have been done down the bottom. So we can search any which way we like for a quotation that we may have going on. So you can see it straight away. I've searched Williams, customer, who's at Williams. There's a couple of different bits and pieces. I can also search via potentially model number, depending on what it is that makes sense to use, how you wish to search for that particular quote. What we'll do is we'll start a new quote. So obviously on the right-hand side top button here, you've got new quote. When we go in and set up the new quote, it will be set up relative to your branch that you are registered as. Each particular branch needs to have, each particular quote, I should say, needs to be set up with the relevant salesperson. Obviously, we're trying to track both initial name, first name as well as surname. We need to have a customer in order for the quote to be valid. So we click on this select customer button. Now you have some names that will be pre-populated throughout here. Now these will be relative to who we have already got customers registered in our MConnect system. So if you have a customer that's purchased a whole good off us in the last 12 months and had it registered via MConnect, then it will be there. But for the purpose of the exercise today, what we're going to do is we're going to add a new quote, add a new customer rather, I should say. At which point we'll just enter the basic details of the customer. Now there needs to be a basic requirement on the details that you need before it to have value. And an email address if we're going to be emailing the quote to the customer. And then that should be enough for us to set the customer up. So straight away you can see we've got Smith Farms as our end user, dealer salesperson myself. Our quote date will always give you the date that you're obviously creating the quote, and the valid date is always 30 days from that date. So when we then simply start to build the quote, you'll see we have a range of products. For the sake of the exercise today, we're going to pick a 6333. So initially what we'll get is whatever is written in our price list, we will see a replication of that in our page here when we're building our quote. So the first thing you'll notice is that on the right-hand side here, we actually start to see the quote being built. So the retail price of the machine, the discount structure, which is applicable to your sales dealership and the program that's currently active. We also then have this retail/full prices button. I don't know that you'll use this a lot, but if you have the opportunity or the desire to build a quote with a customer live, if you click on the retail button, then it does away with all your discount structure. So you can see straight away what was there previously as our discount structure is now there, so you can show that to the customer without needing to them to realise what discount structure is going on in the background. So then it's just simply a matter of working our way through, selecting our options for our sprayer, building it exactly how we'd expect to see. Now in these instances, the first three boxes you see, we just simply selected one item. Now we're in our tyre options, and it says here you can select more than one option. So that if the option is multiple, then you have the option of selecting multiple. So for the point of the exercise, we'll select 2 sets of tyres. You can see straight away we're building this quote over here with 2 sets of tyres. Simply working our way through. Again, we can select more than one option. We'll go a sprayer 120 foot and a sprayer plus, and then work our way through to our options page. This is exactly the same as what you would be familiar with in your Miller price book. So we'll go a boom blowout, fence line kit, and we'll go a toolbox, relatively simple specification. Now, bearing in mind we built this machine as a spray air boom, so the spray air boom requires that we have the ultraflow kit, so we'll add that in. And then that is really by the basics of our machine that's been configured. So for this particular machine, the discount structure at the moment is the dealer discount, the demo discount, and the early order, both of which is 18%, 4%, 4%, and then our 30-day settlement terms based on settlement at the time of that point. Now, that is essentially a quote that's been built. Now, for any reason you've got to this point and you're unsure that you have the specifications correct, you have this option here where you can save it as a draft. So once you've saved it as a draft, you can go back in here and see that it's in our draft quotations with a quote status of being as a draft. So for argument's sake, we've gone in there and we've realised the customer didn't actually want a Trimble auto steer, rather he wanted to go John Deere. We can then make that change and click the submit for approval button. We then have to confirm that we wish to submit that for approval, and you can see straight away here it's changed from a draft quotation to pending approval. This is the point at which your relative salesperson will see a copy of this quote come to them via email, and they'll be driven to create that, approve that quote for you. At the same time, you'll then get an email, which is this one that's just come through to me here, with the quote attached that has got that deal that we have just created. You can see there that change that we made, which is relative to the John Deere steering. So we've then got that quote there sitting as a yet to be approved with their discount structure relevantly attached to it, and then you require the approved quotation to come back from your salesperson. Okay, so at that point we've seen the email go off to your relevant salesperson. They will have had a conversation with you with regards to what you're endeavouring to achieve. So we've then had an approved quotation come through, and this is what will be emailed back to you once your salesperson has approved it at their end. So you can see this approved quotation is now in the heading of the email document that you'll see come back to you. So the specification hasn't changed. We've added in an expiry date for the quote. So we've had a discussion where we're not going to get a decision for a little bit, so we've added a slightly lengthier expiry date, and then there's a settlement date and notation of who it is that is being approved by. So that will be your relevant sales representative who will be doing that. Now, in that discussion, we've also had a conversation where, you know, we wanted to go hard at this customer so we could get a retail decision out of them ASAP. So we've agreed that we would apply an additional $15,000 of discount. Now, that is just a random figure which we've chucked in there. And there's some additional retail assistance as per your salesperson, and that would normally be made as a notation when you get the quote back through to yourself. So that is the quote there. You can then do with that quote what you would normally do, where you would build that into your retail sales worksheets, etc. So if you then have to come back into your MConnect page at any stage and you want to have another look at that quote, you have the ability to go in. You can see there's that quote there. So we still have the ability to go in and manage that quote. So if we lose that quote, we have the ability to go through and say, yes, we've lost it, or we've done 2 separate quotes for this customer. They purchased one, so we need to close out the other one, which is the reason as to why it's no longer going to be there. However, ideally, what we then have is the ability to come in here and place our order. So once we have got the retail signed quote, a retail deal from the customer, we then have the ability to punch in our sales documentation. So we're going to put in our dealer quote, our dealer purchase order number, and then we need to attach our purchase order. So at that point, it's just simply a matter of attach the order, any notations that need to be made relative to the order, and then it's simply a matter of submitting that. So once we've gone through that point, we need to place our order, and then once we go in here, so it's disappeared off this list, and we will then have a notation that the machine has been placed on order, and then you obviously follow that and go, here we go, here's my order, it's come through to your sales professional, so you can see now this machine is currently sitting on order. So in the background, that also in that same email attaches the order that was sent through with it. So all the information is there relative to your order to us, and all the information that we need in order to maintain that. Now, if we wanted to create a new quote, there is the ability to do multiple machines. So if we want to go down the line of quoting a customer additional machines, or 2 machines at once, we have the capacity to do that in this tool also. I'll close it out because I don't want to do too many. Okay, so that is the basics of how MConnect sales quotation tool works, the sales desk. You'll be, if you have any questions regarding how to use it or being set up and registered for it, please contact your local sales representative, and we're more than happy to help you out.